Welcome to the 2021 NCAA Selection Show for Division II Women's Basketball. I am Jeremiah Johnson. In this challenging year, we are so happy to be here today to announce the field. So many student athletes, coaches, and administrators have sacrificed so much to get to this point. In mere moments, we will announce the 48 schools who will play for a Division II National Championship. Now, we will be announcing the field by going through 8 6-team regionals. Those single-site events will tip off next weekend around the country, with the 1 and 2 seeds in each region receiving a bye. Winners from those 8 regions will qualify for the 2021 Division II Women's Basketball Elite 8, which will take place March 23rd through the 26th at the Greater Columbus Convention Center in Columbus, Ohio. The 8 teams advancing to the Women's Elite 8 will be seeded by the Division II Women's Basketball Committee after the completion of the regionals. Now, before we announce the field, we would like to check in with our expert analyst for the night. He is Wayne Cavadi. He's been called the Dean of Division II, America's foremost D2 sports expert. Dean joining us from Atlanta. Some insight on each of the 8 regions once we unveil the bracket. Now, Wayne, my first question, due to COVID, we'll see a variety of records on the screen. Some schools playing a lot more games than others. This had to complicate things for the selection committee, coming up with those at-large selections.
Oh, absolutely. This was, I'm not envious of them this year. It was, 16 less teams in the field with the 48-team bracket. You also have so many upsets in the conference tournaments themselves that it completely turned some of the regions upside down from the final regional rankings that we had. So a lot of different, it's going to have a different feel to this tournament, but I think you said it well, that we're just happy to be here. Everyone worked really hard to get here, and we're excited to have some tournament basketball.
All right, once again, 48 teams in the bracket, 16 automatic qualifiers, 32 at-large selections. Time now to see how the road to Columbus begins, and we will start in the Atlantic region at the Greater Columbus Convention Center. The host, Ohio Dominican University, and the Greater Columbus Sports Commission. Our number 1 seed, Charleston, West Virginia, the Golden Eagles, 17-2. Coach Tiana Kelly doing a fantastic job. Mountain East Conference Coach of the Year. Brooklyn Pennell named Mountain East Player of the Year. Their 8th appearance, just the 2nd since 2014. They will play the winner of the 4-5 matchup. The 4 seed is Cedarville, 19-5. The Yellow Jackets, led by Carrie Hoffman, the GMAC Women's Coach of the Year. The 5 seed is Walsh at 16-6. The Cavaliers can celebrate tonight. They're in as an at-large despite a loss Friday in the quarterfinals of the GMAC tournament. Macy Sales nearly averages a double-double, 19 points, 9.5 rebounds per game. Now, the 2 seed also getting a bye in this region, Glenville State, 12-3. The Pioneers did drop a hard-fought game to Charleston in the Mountain East Championship on Sunday, but the at-large selection is their 13th overall NCAA berth. The 3 seed, Kentucky Wesleyan, 18-5, an at-large selection. It's the 4th NCAA appearance for KWC. They have revenge on their mind in next weekend's opener because they'll take on Tiffin, 16-8, the AQ out of the Great Midwest Athletic Conference. They won the overtime thriller over Kentucky Wesleyan to get this spot in the field, the first ever NCAA appearance for the Dragons. Welcome back, Wayne. As you have seen the very first region, your thoughts?
Well, right off the bat, I mean, if you had the Tiffin Dragons winning the GMAC, I mean, that's the kind of year it is. It's March. We had some of the upsets. I think they're a very intriguing team, and I think that is the key to this region. I think it's an intriguing region, right? Charleston is a really good team, and Brooklyn Pennell, like you said, and Erica Russell, they are just a dynamic duo that could take over games, and they're going to be a real power in that region. And of course, Glenville State, who is 3 years running the top scoring team in D2 women's basketball. So your 1 and 2 seed right there are just 2 dominant teams. But I think you really got to keep an eye on Walsh. 16-6, they have some real, they're big 3. Shea Carter, they're just big time scorers. And I don't think their record is really how good they are. I think they're a really good team. I think they had some struggles early in the year, and I think they could be a team that you should have on your radar. But Cedarville's no easy matchup in the first round. So I think this is a really intriguing region, and they did a great job with it.
We have some video of Cedarville, one of 3 teams in the country shooting above 40% from outside the three-point arc. So that Cedarville-Walsh matchup should be worth watching.
Absolutely. And Cedarville has, they haven't made a tournament since, I believe it was the 14-15 season, and they have 3 scorers that are putting up more than 14 points a game. So they have scorers too, and like you said, this should be a great first-round game.
All right, thank you, Wayne. Let's move to the Central region at Warrensburg, Missouri. The University of Central Missouri is the host for this 6-team regional. The number 1 seed, Fort Hays State, at 22-3. The Tigers take an at-large selection, 5-5 record all-time in the championships. A very impressive season, and they've played 25 games, so they are battle-tested this season. They, of course, get the bye. They'll take on the winner of that 4-5 matchup. The 4 seed is Central Missouri, 19-4. The Jennies, an at-large selection. Despite falling to Washburn in the MIAA quarterfinals, they were second in the final Central Region rankings. Outstanding season for Central Missouri. They'll take on St. Cloud State, who is 12-5. Looking forward to that first-round matchup. Nebraska Kearney, 22-3. They are the 2 seed in this regional. They earn the Mid-America Intercollegiate Athletic Association automatic qualifier with a 57-51 win over Fort Hays State. Brooke Carlson led the Lopers with 18 points in that game. The 3 seed is Minnesota Duluth, 13-1, the AQ of the Northern Sun Intercollegiate Conference. Brooke Olson averages 20.8 points per game, the 12th appearance for the Bulldogs. And the final team in this regional, Emporia State, 18-6, at-large selection, 21st time in school history. They were the national champions in 2010. So I mentioned Fort Hays State. They are the 1 seed. We always start there. Are they the favorite of this regional? Clear-cut favorite?
It's so hard, this region. See, you look at the MIAA and the 4 teams that represent it. You could never gauge who was the best team in the conference this year, because every time one of them got hot, another one stepped in and cut them down. And I do think Fort Hays, on paper, talent-wise, is the team to beat, but it is not. It's not going to be a walk in the park, especially when you have, the Lopers that just won their first MIAA title, and they're rolling. 22-3. 2 teams with 22 wins in this part of the bracket. So, like you said, battle tested, and that's huge this time of year. But these are very evenly matched teams, and you see that even with Minnesota Duluth and St. Cloud State. The NSIC was a race between the 2 of them. It was so great that those 2 teams split the final regular season series and then got to meet up again in the conference championship, where Minnesota Duluth won. But I mean, Central Missouri is great, and Emporia State is good. They have the experience. These are just battle-tested, sound teams that know each other pretty well.
I set you up, because clearly Fort Hays State isn't the clear-cut favorite, because they just lost to Nebraska Kearney. It should be an outstanding region. Let's move ahead to the East region. Games played at Buffalo, New York, on the campus of the host school, Damon College, the number 1 seed in this regional, Dominican New York. The Penguins, with a 12-1 record, taking the automatic spot reserved for the Central Atlantic Collegiate Conference champion. They defeated Georgian Court 81-65. Taylor Tomlinson, 25 points and 10 rebounds. They'll await the winner of the 4-5 matchup, American International. Just 8 games, they won 7 of them. The Yellow Jackets' 12th NCAA appearance. They were runner-up in 2006. The 5 seed, Roberts Wesleyan, the Red Hawks, the AQ from the East Coast Conference. They enter the championships with a 10-6 record. First ever ECC title, first ever NCAA appearance. The 2 seed also getting that all-important bye is the host, Damon. 12-2, the Wildcats savor this one. Last year was supposed to be their first ever appearance. This year their name is called, and they will get to play and host. Congratulations to the Wildcats. The 3 seed, the 3-6 matchup features Georgian Court. Also 8-1, freshman Anissa Fields named the CACC Player of the Year. Their only loss came Saturday to Dominican. Maybe they'll get another opportunity next weekend. And the 6th seed, the final team in this regional, Concordia, New York at 6-5. Huge win on Tuesday in the conference quarterfinals. Shanice Graves scored a putback basket with under a second to play. Perhaps that helped get them in this field. Might we see a Dominican-Damon East Region final, Wayne?
I really think this is Damon's region to lose. I like them. I think they're a very good team, and they've been doing it for a couple of years now. But you mentioned it going into the selections. Robert Wesleyan 10-6, Concordia 6-5. Those are records you usually don't see. But kudos to the Red Hawks at Robert Wesleyan. They figured out Damon after losing to them in the regular season and won themselves into the tournament. And they have the momentum. The bad thing for them is their first round draw. American International is the second best scoring defense in D2 women's basketball. So, they, like I said, they have the momentum. They're coming off a big win, making that tournament appearance, and we'll see. It's going to be an intriguing matchup with that scoring defense that American International has. But I do think that Damon is the team to beat here.
All right. Well, Wayne going with the 2 seed, the 1 seed Dominican. They're watching this show. I can guarantee you that. The Midwest region in Springfield, Missouri, hosted by Drury University at the O'Reilly Family Events Center. The number 1 seed is Michigan Tech. What a season for the Huskies. 20-1, and AQ having won the GLIAC championship. 73-63 over Ashland. Sam Hoyt, GLIAC Coach of the Year. Ellie Mackey, Player of the Year. 20th appearance for Michigan Tech. The 4 seed is Grand Valley State. They are 14-5, lost to Parkside in the GLIAC quarterfinals, but they are still in, and they'll take on Ashland. Mention Ashland, 14-8, runner-up to Michigan Tech in that GLIAC championship game. They're number 1 in the country in free throw percentage. The 2 seed getting a bye, the Drury Lady Panthers, 5th straight GLVC championship, so that gets the AQ. They defeated Truman 76-60 on Sunday. 17th appearance, and they lead the country in field goal percentage. The 3 seed has to play an extra game to try to get the right to play Drury. That is Truman. 5th appearance in the NCAA championships for the Bulldogs. And the 6th seed is Northwood. At-large selection, 11-8. Do not foul Mackenzie Todd. She holds the school record for free throw percentage, 97.1%. A big picture look at this regional, Michigan Tech and Drury. Drury continues to be one of those schools you can just pencil in to the championships each and every year.
Yeah, and it's amazing this year in particular. New head coach, lost so much of that talent from the last couple of years that got them to the Elite Eight and all those undefeated runs, and lo and behold, they're 20-1, right in the mix. They're such a great program, and Paige Robinson is just such a great player, really good at everything. But it's a deep starting 5, and it's not just her. But you gotta like Michigan Tech, 18 in a row, which I believe is a program record. They just win ball games. They have impressive victories all year long, and Ashland, we talked about with Drury, was a changing of the guard, and Ashland went through that very much as well, but played themselves in with a great tournament run, a conference tournament run, and it just wouldn't be March without Ashland. So it's good to see that they made their way into the bracket, and we get that Grand Valley State-Ashland matchup in round 1.
And worth noting, the 2 seed Drury is once again the host of this regional. We are halfway through the field for the 2021 NCAA Division II Women's Basketball Championship. We'll go through the 6 teams that will participate in the South, Southeast, South Central, and West regions after this short timeout on NCAA.com.
For the win!
If a champion can teach us anything, it's to stay hungry, to keep our resolve, and to prepare for what's next. So to the players in the college sports community who never stop believing, the end goal is in sight. The ultimate rally. A comeback for all ages. For the fans, the teams, and most importantly, the players. Let's bring on the next champion. We're ready.
Jeremiah Johnson getting set to announce 24 more schools that will compete in the Division II Women's Basketball National Championships. Wayne Cavati already has provided some outstanding insight and analysis, some strong opinions as well. Sit tight, Wayne. We'll get to you after we share the schools in the South region. The host school, the University of North Georgia, games will be played at the UNG Convocation Center, and the host school is also the #1 seed. Yes, North Georgia, 17-1. The Nighthawks, Peach Belt Conference Tournament champions for the third time in the last 4 seasons, 72-70 win in the final against Lander. Their only loss, January 23rd, in overtime to Lander. They'll await the winner of the 4-5 matchup, the 4 seed Union, Tennessee. The Lady Bulldogs earning the AQ out of the Gulf South Conference. A 70-56 victory in Sunday's championship. Hannah Garrett led Union with 27 points. They'll take on the 5 seed Montevallo. 14-6, celebrate first NCAA appearance in school history. This after making the Gulf South semifinals for the first time in school history. Congratulations to the Falcons. The 2 seed and getting that important bye, Lander, 17-1 at-large spot in the South region. First loss all season to North Georgia in that Peach Belt Conference Tournament Championship. First unbeaten regular season and their 14th NCAA appearance. Valdosta State, the Lady Blazers, are 17-3 and the 3 seed. It is a lucky 13th NCAA appearance for Valdosta State. And the 6th seed is Lee, 15-6. The Lady Flames get an at-large selection. A good run for Lee. 4th appearance. They made it in 2017, 18, and 19, looking for their 2nd ever postseason win. Wayne, we're starting to see in these Final 4 regions some really talented teams. North Georgia at 17-1, Lander at 17-1. These two would appear to be on a collision course.
Poor Montevallo, right? Because there are 3 #1 seeds, if you ask me, in this region, and they're making their tournament debut going up against 2 other tournament regulars in Union and Lee. This part of the region, this part of the bracket, I should say, is just stacked. North Georgia and Lander, like you said, have 1 loss each, and it's to each other. And this is also a different feel to the South region with the Peach Belt in it this year. So this is one of those first, the bracket, part of the brackets that kind of had the different feel to it because of the shortened season and certain conferences not playing this year. But like you said, North Georgia, Julianne Sutton is just one of the steadiest players in D2. They have their conference freshman of the year. But Lander, 17-0 run until they met with North Georgia, but they both beat each other once this year. And then you throw in Valdosta State, who has a terrific 1-2 punch, running the floor down low and up high. And like I said, tournament regulars in Union and Lee, and this is just a really tough region. I don't know that you could say any one of these teams is the favorite because they are all very good.
We've talked about some tough regions, some tough teams coming up yet in this bracket. The Southeast region participants will travel to Jefferson City, Tennessee. Carson Newman University, the host school, with games at Holt Fieldhouse. And the 1 seed Belmont Abbey, a 68-62 overtime win on Sunday in the Conference Carolinas Championship. 18 straight wins, a 22-2 record. The best three-point shooting team in Division II, 43.6% at last check. The 4-5 matchup should be fun for the broadcasters, fun to watch as well. Tusculum, the Pioneers, defeated Lincoln Memorial in the final Sunday for the South Atlantic Conference Championship. Maddie Sutton, 16.8 points per game, leads the country in double-doubles. Tusculum's 6th appearance. And Tuskegee, the Tigers, 12-1, the 5 seed. We certainly look forward to that 4-5 matchup. The 2 seed getting a bye, Barton College, 12-2. The Bulldogs did hand Belmont Abbey one of their 2 losses this season. This is Barton's 9th appearance. The 3 seed, 10th appearance for Carson Newman, and yes, they are the host school as well, so do not count the Eagles out. 15-3 their record. This is an at-large selection. Catawba, 10-3, 6th appearance. They are the 6th seed, first time in since 2015. Still looking for their first NCAA win. It will not be easy, though, with that first round game against Carson Newman at Carson Newman. So we know this weekend Belmont Abbey beat Barton in overtime. Wayne, who stands the best chance of preventing those rivals from meeting again?
The first round matchup here between the Pioneers and Tuskegee is very interesting. If you follow my D2 report on NCAA.com, every week I talk about some of the best performances. And Maddie Sutton, as you mentioned, she seemed to be in there every week. She just a double machine, and she powered this team to, as you can see, an 18-3 record, and they're very good. But they're playing a Tuskegee team who has a great player in Jackson and is very good, but they haven't played since February 21st. So what kind of rust will they have? Are they going to be at their very best, or was the layoff good for them and they can come out even stronger? So I think that's an interesting matchup between players and just the situation that it was. And I think whoever comes out of that game could give a real challenge to Belmont Abbey. But Belmont Abbey and Barton, it would be great to see them go at it one more time. Throughout the season, it's just they're two very good teams.
Let's move to the South Central region, home to the last school to win this championship. In 2019, Lubbock Christian defeated Southwest Oklahoma in double overtime for the title. This regional held at the First United Bank Center in Canyon, Texas. And there is Lubbock Christian, the number 1 seed, one of 2 undefeated teams in the field, 18-0. I have a long paragraph of things to say about Lubbock Christian. We'll say second straight conference championship, taking the AQ spot. Emma Middleton, MVP of the conference tournament. The Lady Chaps champs in 2016 and 2019, and I'm sure Wayne will weigh in shortly. The 4-5 matchup should be good. Arkansas Tech at 14-2. This is the 16th appearance in school history for the Golden Suns. They'll take on Cameron, 11-7, and their 3rd appearance. But if you win that 4-5 matchup, you've got to take on Lubbock Christian. The 2 seeds, Southwestern Oklahoma State. This is noteworthy. Yes, they are in the same region as Lubbock Christian this season. The Lady Bulldogs, 17-3, 5th appearance. Number 1 in assists per game, 18.8 per contest. The 3 seed, Texas A&M Commerce. The Lions with a 13-3 season. And the 6 seed, Southern Nazarene, 12-6 AQ out of the Great American Conference. They were down in their championship game of the GAC tournament, down 7 with 2:12 to play, and they upset Southeastern Oklahoma State by scoring the last 9 points. Congratulations to Southern Nazarene. Now, Wayne, how about this? Lubbock Christian, Southwestern Oklahoma, in 2019 played for the championship. This year, 2021, only one has a chance to get to the Elite Eight.
And I don't know another time that's happened in the tournament, in the bracket history. But this is another part of the bracket where there's had to be some realignment in conferences, and it just turns out that the 1 and 2 seed were the last 2 standing in the last tournament that we had, and they're 2 very good teams. It's like you said, you could write a book on everything you could say about Lubbock Christian. Since they've become a D2 team, they're just an incredible powerhouse. They have great players. They are so good at making you play their game. They have the top scoring defense in D2 women's basketball, the 2nd largest margin of victory. So they do it on both ends of the floor. They're just such a well-coached program and so very tough to beat. But there are teams here that can beat them. You look at Cameron in the 5 seed, 11-7, but they have some really big signature wins over Texas A&M Commerce, over West Texas A&M. Southwestern Oklahoma State is very good. That team in 2019, they lost a lot of the big, program iconic stars that just rewrote the program's history while they were there. They lost them, and they've kept rolling. And it's good to see that they've been able to build a program, and it wasn't just those players that led them to the finals. But this conference is another. This region is another deep one, and I think you look at Lubbock Christian sitting there at 18-0, and they're just such a dominant team. But I do think there's plenty of challenges out there to be had.
Thank you, Wayne. One more region. It is the West. In Grand Junction, Colorado Mesa, the host institution, with games played at Brownson Arena. The number 1 seed, Colorado School of Mines, 17-3. RMAC's semifinal win over first such postseason victory against Colorado Mesa in school history. But in the championship, it was declared a no contest due to COVID protocol. Still, Colorado Mesa Colorado School of Mines, their body of work good enough to get that 1 seed. They will await the winner of Azusa Pacific, the 4th seed. The Cougars clinched the Pac-West Southern California Pod title with a 79-66 win against Point Loma. Their 4th NCAA appearance. They're 4-3 in the tournament. They'll take on the 5 seed. I mentioned there were 2 undefeated schools. Hawaii Pacific is the other, 13-0. The Sharks, the AQ from the Pac-West Conference. Amy Baum recorded a triple-double in their final game. 10 points, 10 rebounds, and 15 assists. They have the best assist-to-turnover ratio in Division II. The 2 seed out west is Western Colorado University. 14-5, the Mountaineers, an at-large selection. First time in school history. The 3 seed Westminster, Utah. The Griffins, 11-5. Second appearance, first time was in 2019. And so Black Hills State is the 6th seed in this region. They got the AQ out of that Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference. Remember, that championship declared a no contest, so Black Hills State gets the AQ. Colorado School of Mines is still the 1 seed. Will be really interesting, Wayne, to see how this one shakes out.
In normal years, when the CCAA and the Great Northwest are in action, I already call this the Wild West. And that with the addition of the RMAC, the Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference, it's just wilder. Western Colorado, at the 2 seed for your first appearance, obviously a lot of momentum rolling in here, a lot of emotion. They could harness that and really make a good run in this. I think the first round game between Azusa and Hawaii Pacific, Hawaii Pacific 38-game winning streak. They have the longest winning streak in D2 women's basketball. You mentioned Amy Baum is a D2 women's basketball superstar. She could do it all. That was her second career triple-double. And there's just a lot of the Westminster, Black Hills State. It's just such an evenly matched game that when they move to the second round, they're playing another team that they're familiar with. I just think that this is, if you could get that Hawaii Pacific offense to go against the Colorado School of Mines defense, both top 10 at what they do best, I think that's going to be a great second round matchup. And then, you have 2 in the lower half of that bracket, you have 2 teams that are going to be really familiar with each other. And I think that's going to be another great matchup. So this is going to be a wild region and fun to watch.
I think we say this every single year, Wayne, but we're congratulating everyone that gets in, but maybe more so this year than ever, just because of everything these schools, these players had to go through. It was so important to get them back on the court, and now it almost feels like it's just icing on the cake that they get to compete in the national championships. We saw a lot of upsets in the conference tournaments. Do you think, because of the year and everything going on, we could be set up for more upsets than normal in the NCAA Division II national tournament?
Absolutely. And I think that's what's going to make it one of the more memorable tournaments that we've had. Some of these teams are just getting going. Some of them are in, the cliched quote-unquote mid-season form. They're just getting there. Some of them just started in mid-January. So they're just getting going. And, you look at, we mentioned this several times throughout, you look at some of the records, you can't really judge those teams by their records. They got the momentum going. This time of year is not necessarily if you're the best team on the court, but if you're the hottest and you're playing well together, and everything's just starting to come together. And I think this is going to be, if you're trying to make a bracket prediction and fill out a bracket, this is going to be the toughest one to fill out. But at the same time, I think it's going to make it one of the more exciting tournaments we've had in recent history.
Wayne, thank you so much for all you do for the student athletes in Division II athletics. Your work is truly appreciated.
Well, thank you for having me. It's just, like I said, it's great to be back talking tournament basketball, and I can't wait for next week.
We can't wait to see these players get on the road to Columbus later this week. Once again, we will tell you the regionals March 12th through the 15th, the quarterfinals and semifinals March 23rd through the 24th, with the champion crowned on March 26th at Columbus, Ohio. We will have game times and locations for the entire tournament listed on NCAA.com as they become available. Once again, thank you for joining us, Wayne Cavati. I am Jeremiah Johnson. You've been watching the 2021 NCAA Division II Women's Selection Show on NCAA.com.
For the win! Good!
If a champion can teach us anything, it's to stay hungry, to keep our resolve, and to prepare for what's next. So to the players in the college sports community who never stop believing, the end goal is in sight. The ultimate rally. A comeback for all ages. For the fans, the teams, and most importantly, the players. Let's bring on the next champion. We're ready.